Alzheimer's is one of the most painful diseases a family can face. I watched my grandfather slowly lose his memory. What we didn't understand then is that for many people, the metabolic damage begins decades before the first symptom. Welcome back to the Evo Code. Today, we're talking about Alzheimer's disease and what we can realistically do about it. And let me say this clearly at the start. Alzheimer's disease is not a normal part of aging. Occasional forgetfulness can happen with age. Progressive cognitive decline is not inevitable. More than 7 million Americans are currently living with Alzheimer's disease. It is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. Unless trends change, that number is expected to nearly double in the coming decades. The economic burden already exceeds hundreds of billions of dollars annually. But the real cost is measured in families. And here's why this conversation matters to nearly all of us. Roughly 93% of American adults are metabolically unhealthy. Insulin resistance and chronic inflammation are common, not rare, which means Alzheimer's risk is not a niche issue. It's a population issue. For decades, Alzheimer's was described by plaques and tangles. But brain imaging shows something deeper: impaired glucose metabolism in vulnerable regions, years, sometimes decades before symptoms appear. Neurons struggle to use glucose efficiently. Insulin signaling becomes impaired. Mitochondria falter. One of the earliest and most vulnerable structures is the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. The hippocampus is among the most energy-demanding regions in the brain. When fuel delivery becomes unstable, it is especially susceptible to injury. That helps explain why memory loss is often the first visible symptom. Some researchers have described this metabolic pattern as type 3 diabetes, not an official diagnosis, but a reflection of something real: brain insulin resistance. For many patients, the metabolic drivers of Alzheimer's are present long before memory fades. Now, let's talk about what you can do if someone you love already has Alzheimer's. First, be realistic. There's no magic reversal. Damage has been done. Anyone promising a cure is misleading you. But metabolic stress can still be reduced. The goal now is to minimize large swings in blood sugar and insulin. Rapid spikes and crashes increase inflammatory signaling in the brain. Stable fuel supports calmer neurologic function. That means eliminate sugar, remove industrial seed oils, reduce carbohydrates dramatically. Lowering carbohydrates lowers insulin, and when insulin falls, the body regains the ability to burn fatty acids and produce ketones. In Alzheimer's disease, glucose metabolism declines, but ketone metabolism remains largely intact. The brain can still use ketones effectively, even when glucose use is impaired. Providing ketones is not a cure, but it is physiologically rational support. For some patients, especially earlier in the disease, mild ketosis can provide more stable brain energy. MCT oil can assist because it is rapidly converted into ketones, increasing circulating ketone levels even without extreme carbohydrate restriction. It is not a treatment, but it can support alternative brain fuel. Supportive nutrients such as magnesium, omega-3 fatty acids, creatine, and vitamin D may further support neuronal energy systems. These are not miracle therapies, but reducing ongoing metabolic strain may help preserve function longer. And sometimes preserving function is everything. For many patients, the metabolic dysfunction contributing to Alzheimer's begins decades before diagnosis: insulin resistance, central adiposity, chronic inflammation. Chronic high insulin suppresses fat burning and ketone production, quietly robbing the brain of metabolic flexibility decades before memory fails. Over time, that metabolic inflexibility leaves energy-hungry regions like the hippocampus especially vulnerable. ApoE4 increases susceptibility, but genes are not destiny. Genes influence risk. Metabolic environment shapes outcome. Prevention is not about one supplement. It's about keeping insulin low over time. When insulin stays low, your body burns fat, produces ketones, and maintains metabolic flexibility. That flexibility gives the brain fuel options and reduces inflammatory stress over decades. That's how you build cognitive resilience. Practically, that means no sugar, almost no refined carbohydrates, no seed oils. Prioritize nutrient-dense protein and stable anti-inflammatory fats. Strength train, sleep deeply, maintain waist control. Protect metabolic health early, and you reduce your risk later. If you are caring for someone with Alzheimer's, your steady presence is a gift they may not remember, but it still matters. If this episode helped you think differently about brain health, share it with someone who needs it. Alzheimer's is complex, but metabolic health matters. Protect it early. I'll see you next time on the Evo Code.